if if Benny does what he did for the last 15 years, for the next 5 to 10 years, then yeah, I think he might be the next Jay-Z. All right, check this, right? Before we even start this video, real quick disclaimer so I know if this video is for you. If you're the type of person that invite me over your house and I got to use the bathroom and I go in the bathroom and you ain't got no towels or no paper towels for me to wipe my hands, this video is not for you. And not only is this video not for you, if you ain't got no paper towels or no towels for me to wipe my hand, I'm definitely wiping my hands on your shower curtain. This video is not for you. And if you're the type of person, let's say I invite you over to a cookout, I say like, yo, me and the family is barbecuing, pull up, you don't need to bring nothing, and you actually come to the cookout and you don't bring nothing, this video is not for you. I know I said don't bring nothing, but if you don't bring nothing, you can't be grabbing like all the name brand stuff. Like when you go to the cooler and get a pop, you can't like grab the Pepsi or the 7-Up. You got to grab the value brand. This video is probably not for you. And last but not least, if you're the type of person that comes to an event, I'm talking about it's a buffet, a little taco buffet, all types of food, all types of good stuff, and you in the corner eating a salad taco, this video is probably not, well, you know what? This video might be not for my man Spills. Shout out to my homie Spills. I swear, listen, they threw me a YouTube party, right? For hitting 50,000 subscribers. And in this party, my girl had like a little taco buffet and all that stuff. So you be having a good old time. I'm wasted. It's free drinks and all that too. And I look in the corner. What do I see Spills doing? Eating a lettuce taco. Because he's like I think he's like a vegetarian or a pescatarian or a virgin, or I don't know what he is. He don't eat meat. But anyways, he was eating a lettuce taco. And these disclaimers had absolutely nothing to do with this video, but let's get started.
They can't stand the facts. A lot of niggas saying they can't stand this raps. I'm so Buffalo like I'm Bandana Black. I'm from the 716. We determined and we discipline. Oh, that's your man. Better get him for you missing that. DJ Bandana.
Hey yo, what's good? It's DJ Bandana Black, Mr. Well Connected, even more respected, Mr. Hashtag I am Buffalo. Keep calm, I feed these streets. You already know it's Mr. I am Buffalo. Listen, if this is your first time on my channel, if this is your first time on the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Right on the bottom of this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and also hit the notification bell so you can be notified of all of the videos that we post on the channel. And I know I was joking in the intro a little bit about my homie Spills. That Spills, by the way, on my intro. That's my bro. We just joking, but that's my man Spills on the intro. Like, I'm so Buffalo, like I'm Bandana Black. But yeah, that's a true story though. We really did have a little taco bar and stuff like that too. And he's in the corner eating a lettuce taco. Like I don't know what's up with him. But anyways, listen. Two things we got to talk about. Some good news for Kodak Black, and we might have the next Jay-Z. And I know a lot of people are going to say you bugging saying the next Jay-Z, but I think it's time that we had that talk. I think by now there's been enough accomplishments. There's been enough cosigns. There's been enough love. There's been enough support. There's been enough numbers to at least have that conversation. Let me start off with Kodak Black. So for those of you who don't know, earlier this year, Kodak Black was locked up in Buffalo. Well, not Buffalo, Niagara Falls, New York. Niagara Falls and Buffalo is like 10 minutes away from each other, so we called it the same thing. Well, he was locked up in Niagara County, and I had him on my radio show at the time. But once he got moved from there, he got moved to a jail. I believe it was down in, was it Kentucky? He got moved to another jail. And basically, he got on Instagram. He was saying like how the guards was beating him up. He said that they slipped something in the drugs that he was using. They slipped something in something he was using, even though he probably shouldn't be using that. But anyways, he said that the guards and stuff was mistreating him. He basically used the word torture. They was torturing him while he was in jail, and he was basically having a hard time when he was in jail. And I can honestly say this: as a man, I can admit when I'm wrong about something. And in this particular situation, I'm not going to say I'm wrong. I think I have a better understanding of the younger generation. Now, a person like Kodak Black comes from the struggle, comes from the hood, comes from the projects, Project Baby, all that, gets on, makes a lot of money, has the opportunity to change his life, keeps doing stuff that can have him actually doing life. But during that time, I kind of looked at Kodak Black as one of those people who was, I'm not going to say wasted talent, but wasted their chance. But after really looking at him and I'm saying, actually looking at some of my young boys who went through things, it's not their fault, honestly. A lot of times these young people are raised in a certain way or raised in an environment where they don't really know any better. Like, even though he has millions and millions of dollars, he's still going to do, like, to us, foolish stuff, but it's just normal, everyday stuff to him. He got to be a real person. And a lot of times, and it's going to tie into the second part of this video, too, as far as the new Jay-Z. A lot of times we want our artists, we want our rappers to rap about things that they're actually living. Like, whenever a rapper raps about something that they're actually living about, we kind of judge them on that. Even like with the whole 6ix9ine thing. 6ix9ine, Treyway this, blood that. He really wasn't that. And we kind of judge him like, yo, you wasn't really living your raps. But then when you get a guy like Kodak Black who is literally living the same thing that he's rapping about when he gets locked up in these particular situations. We kind of judge him, and I'm not gonna say judge him, but we kind of look down on him like, yo, you're an idiot or you stupid, you made a dumb move. But a lot of times it really takes. Sometimes it takes going through a bad situation. I don't wish jail on anybody, but maybe it takes this little bit of time. I can't say a little bit of time because anything more than 3 days, I'm running. Like if I'm facing more than 3 days, I ain't even going to court. They got to catch me, and he in there for more than 3 days. But when you facing like a little bit of time like that too, it can kind of make you clear your mind and kind of think about things differently. So I hope when Kodak Black does get out, he makes some changes. Honestly, he had a really big following. He had a really big support system. I mean, his records was doing phenomenal, even on radio. I was playing a lot of his records on radio in the club. His records to this day still go. Like the Skrilla joint, if you play Skrilla in the club right now, it would still go. And I really hope that Kodak Black gets out and makes better decisions, makes better choices, have a better team around him. But anyways, he got moved to another prison, and basically he was saying that he filed a lawsuit against the other prison that he was on for like unfair treatment. They was torturing him, stuff like that too. So they moved him to another prison, and he said himself that he's doing better. He's saying that the guards are actually nice and more professional. They're doing what they're supposed to do now. Even though Kodak Black, looking at the charges that he does have, I'm not going to say it was his. I don't want to be a liar. He could have made better decisions. He didn't have to be locked up right now. But even though he's locked up, you're not supposed to be tortured. You're not supposed to be beat, regardless of what you did to get there. Like they're still supposed to be professional. They're still supposed to be officers or guards like that too. So I honestly hope that he can serve the rest of his time in a peaceful manner and get out and do phenomenal things. Now, on to the next Jay-Z thing, right? So when it comes to music, that's one thing that I will never front about when it comes to music. Just because I'm a DJ at the end of the day, like I always say, I'm not one of the people who hop on YouTube and put a DJ in front of my name. When it comes to music, that's one thing that I will always be fair with, as far as my opinion. Now, we got to talk about something. So Benny the Butcher, I know him as Benny. I know him as Benny the Butcher. Actually, I know him as 2 Chainz Benny. It's a long story. But by the way, he was the first 2 Chainz. That's a fact. But he put out a project called Burden the Truth, right? And this Burden the Truth project, and I waited a while too, because it dropped yesterday, so I waited a few hours, I listened to it a couple times, because I didn't want to jump the gun. I didn't want to get on here and say, like, yo, this is a classic, like, this is, like, top 5 of maybe, like, the last 5 years. But honestly, this Benny the Butcher, Burden the Truth project, and you can quote me on this is a classic. I know a lot of times, I know you guys listen to maybe, like, the Joe Budden podcast and say, like, you can't call it a classic because it hasn't been out that long, but a lot of you guys don't know, like, even with this whole Griselda movement, like, these guys are not new. Like, they're new to you. They've been putting in work for a lot of time. Even, like I said, when it comes to music, I don't care what it is. I'm always going to be truthful when it comes to music. Benny, as an artist, like, I'll give you an example. Like, I'm the #1 Dipset fan, by the way. Like, my name wouldn't be Bandana Black if it wasn't for Dipset. It's a long story. You got to watch the video on it. It's on the other channel, how I got the name Bandana Black. But I'm the #1 Dipset fan. I'm always going to be biased when it comes to Dipset. Now, Jim Jones, when he first came out as an artist, he really wasn't that good. He was actually kind of close to being horrible. But through time, he built on his talent and he became better. I can honestly say with Benny has been this nice since the first record that I heard of Benny. Like I know Benny since Tana Talk, since the Unsigned City mixtapes. Rest in peace to DJ Shay. But Benny, I can honestly say, wasn't an artist who, I mean, honestly, people grow over time, they get better, but Benny wasn't an artist where it was like, okay, he was okay and he got better. And he's always been like in those conversations as far as the nicest. Now, with this album, Burden of Truth, I'm going to go on record and say it's a classic. I'm going to go on record and say it might possibly be top 5, not even mixtapes, albums, might be top 5 release of the last 5 years. The reason why I say the next Jay-Z, because if you look at Jay-Z with A Reasonable Doubt, they have a lot of similarities. Not only is Benny signed to Roc Nation, but his the things that he raps about, it's kind of like a younger version of Jay-Z, but like when Jay-Z was doing it, and I'm not that old, so when Jay-Z was doing it, I couldn't really relate, but to actually have somebody that's from my city, from the city of Buffalo, New York, but to have somebody that's from my city, from Buffalo, New York, east side of Buffalo, to actually make it and accomplish these things, and everybody is saying this. Like, it's not just me. It's not like I just came on here and saying, like, yo, he's the next Jay-Z. I actually seen a lot of credible blogs, a lot of credible industry people making the comparisons. And I haven't really thought about it like that because I don't really like saying the next person. Like, a lot of people in my city call me, like, the next DJ Drama or, like, the next DJ K Slay. Like, no, I'm not the next anybody. I'm the first me. And with Benny, it's kind of hard to compare him to a Jay-Z or something like that too, because it's different. It's something that you can relate to. It's something that, like, during these times, it wasn't really like social media where you could see that you couldn't really follow up on somebody's stories. Like when Jay-Z said he lost 99 bricks or 92 bricks or something like that too, we couldn't verify that. There was nobody we can get on Instagram or Twitter or inbox and find out about it. But with Benny, honestly, I can say that he's rapping about some of the things that he's actually been through, some of the things that people that's around that's been through, and it's relatable. And it's hot. It's hot. It's with the times like that too. So to compare, I would actually compare Burden of Truth with Reasonable Doubt. Now I know you guys are probably saying that I'm bugging, but you got to check out the project. I'm gonna put the links in the description at the bottom of this video for you to check out Burden of Truth. And honestly, it's a dope record. Like, there's no fillers. Like, a lot of times we listen to these records, we listen to these albums, these releases, and there's at least, if it's a 15-track joint, it's at least 3 or 4 joints that you might skip over. It's not one of your joints you're going to just keep rocking with. And honestly, I've been listening to this joint, I'm not going to say just for 2 days straight, but I've been listening to it a lot in the last day and a half. And I can honestly say that this might be that joint. So a lot of you guys who's not up on Griselda, who's not up on Benny, Conway, Westside, El Camino, I keep calling them D-Dash, Ricky Hyde, all of those guys, the Sopranos, everybody like that too. These guys have been dope for a long time, and I think Benny is, like, I understand that this release to a lot of people that, okay, this is his first major release. He's a dope artist, but it's like, to see somebody consistently be so good for so long, it's kind of unheard of. It's even like with the whole comparison. I'm not into sports at all, period, but I do see the conversations as far as like with people comparing like LeBron as the next Jordan. Like, no, LeBron can never be the next Jordan. He can beat every record that Jordan had. He can double every point that Jordan had, but he can never be the next Jordan, because it's at that time what you did, like the whole feeling of what Jordan was doing at that time. It doesn't make a difference what LeBron does now. Really can't be compared. They can both be great. They can both be kings, like LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan. They can all be great. The same thing with Benny. Like, Jay-Z is always still going to be considered to most people the GOAT, the greatest of all time. But that's during their era. That's during their time. I think like a lot of people that's listening to music now, a lot of people around my age or a little bit younger, a good contender might be Benny. And I'm just going to say that it's a classic to me, only because I've heard a lot of his past projects. He's actually been on a couple of my mixtapes too. If you get on that Piff and search I Am Buffalo mixtapes, he's been on a couple of mixtapes that I've done related to it. I'm honestly proud of these guys. Like I said, we're not like best of friends. We don't hang out every day like that too. We do know each other. We are cool and like that too. And I'm not just saying like they didn't pay me to do something like that. So I haven't talked to Benny in years. But you got to tell the truth. Like, when it comes to music, that's one thing that I can't front about. That's one thing that I can't be fraud about when it comes to music. Like, this Benny project, honestly, might be the next Jay-Z. If Benny does what he did for the last 15 years, for the next 5 to 10 years, then yeah, I think he might be the next Jay-Z. And I know it might be kind of early to say that for you guys, because you may not have heard a lot of his past work and seen he's been consistent for so long. But honestly, like, this really shocked me. And it's crazy to shock me because he's been consistent for so long. But yeah, I want you guys to hop in the comments. If you are a Griselda fan, if you're not a Griselda fan, check out the record. I will put the link in the description below. Let me know how you feel about this. Also, with the Kodak Black situation, I think that this is good for Kodak. Like I said, I don't think anybody should be treated. I don't care if you unless you do something like with kids, like or beating women or something like that. If in that scenario, I don't care what happens to you in prison, but anything else, I think that you should be treated fairly. Like, I understand, like, prison's not supposed to be a happy place, not supposed to be a vacation, it's not supposed to be somewhere where you're comfortable. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable, so you might not want to come back there. But there are laws and there are rules and regulations that these people should follow. So I think that it's good that Kodak, especially during the pandemic too, because during the pandemic, like, they're not really trying to hear that. They don't care whether you're getting beat or getting tortured or something like that too. But for him to be able to be heard, actually bring up a lawsuit against the state, or I don't know if he's in the feds or the state. I know that he was in Niagara County, so I think that is the feds. But to bring up the lawsuit, for them to actually move him to a place where he's actually, I would say, not comfortable, but at least better than what he was. I think that's good. Shouts to Kodak Black. He did me a solid. When I was on radio, I reached out to his peoples, and I knew he was like in the area to have him on my radio show. So I did have him on the radio show. I don't know if you guys checked that out. It's in the video. Just scroll through the video, search Kodak Black, DJ Bandana Black. You'll find it. But anyways, I'm about to head up out of here. Y'all be safe. Remember what I always say. Life is what you make it, so make it. It's DJ Bandana Black. Mr. Well Connected, even more respected. Also, rest in peace, my man, Pistol Reef. Rest in peace, Reef, Ratchet. And y'all be safe out there. Remember, life is what you make it, so make it. It's DJ Bandana Black. Mr. I Am Buffalo. I'm out.
can't stand the facts. A lot is in saying they can't stand this rap. I'm so Buffalo like I'm Bandana Black. I'm from the 716. We determined and we discipline. Oh, that's your man. Better get him for you missing that.
DJ Bandana.